At Techumen, we have three fundamental things that we have to look at in healthcare. First, we have to genuinely understand the clinical and business processes that gird healthcare. The second thing that we have to do is we have to understand the regulatory framework that underpins healthcare. Only after doing those first two things and understanding those first two things can you move on to the third step, which is designing and implementing the technical, administrative, and physical controls that essentially become your security program. On the compliance side, it's really important to understand that we don't want to derail what's happening within the clinical side. We don't want to upset doctors. We want to make sure that nurses and nurse work is not interrupted by overly strict security measures. So that's one thing. The second thing that it's important for us to do is then understand the regulatory environment. The regulatory environment consists of not only HIPAA, which is a security and privacy component, but also the FDA medical device rule, where you have to worry about medical devices being connected to the information network. There might also be other regulatory concerns, such as the payment card industry initiative. So we really feel that you really have to understand the regulatory environment that's specific to healthcare. Only then, when you've achieved those two things, a full understanding of the clinical processes in healthcare, and then the regulatory requirements that undergird healthcare, can you actually develop the right set of physical, technical, and administrative controls, which is what security is all about. Why should you do a risk analysis is an important question because, first of all, fundamentally, it's required by law. As you know, information technology drives pretty much everything in healthcare and contemporary society, in contemporary settings. So you have to do a security risk analysis because it's required under the HIPAA security rule. But I think it's much more important than just meeting the law. I think it's important because it improves your operational capabilities, it improves your compliance posture, and it really gives all your employees satisfaction that they are protecting patients. Because protecting patients is not about just improving their health, it's also about protecting their data. Well, at Techumen, the way we do a risk analysis is by following the NIST standards. NIST, which stands for the National Institute of Standards and Technology, has developed a very good set of frameworks for developing a security program. The NIST standard for risk analysis really has 9 steps. The first step is system identification. And what does this mean? System identification simply means that you understand fully all your elements of your information infrastructure. This could be a full understanding of all your applications, your operating systems, your databases, your mobile devices, and your network assets. The second step in the NIST process is to understand what threats you may have as an organization. The first are environmental threats. These are typically known as acts of God, things such as earthquakes and tornadoes and things of that nature, things that could have a major impact on your information infrastructure. The second type of threat are just natural threats that are inherent to information technology, such as software crashing or hardware system failing. The third type of threat is really from humans that you interact with or humans within your environment. And these are threats that could involve hacking or the stealing of data by some of your employees, or things that are simply errors by humans in your environment. You should typically do a security risk analysis whenever your information risk profile changes. For most organizations, we believe that this should be an annual process because information technology changes occur so frequently and so rapidly that we believe that for most hospitals and larger entities, this should be done on an annual basis. For smaller organizations, you might be able to get away with once every 2 years. But in general, you should basically do a risk analysis on an annual basis.